All chat members are me. Chapter 1. The chat group members are all me. Author, Othello. Brief introduction. My name is Uchiha Lingfeng, and I have traveled to the Naruto Warring States period. I have two older brothers, Uchiha Madara and Uchiha Kwana. The next day was the decisive battle between our Uchiha family and the Senju family, but I finally got my golden finger, the mobile phone. There is only one chat group software in this phone. Just when I thought I was going to become the group leader like the protagonists of other online novels, use the big trick, gain supreme power, marry Kagaya Otsutsuki, and reach the pinnacle of life. I found out why the members of these chat groups are all me. Currently there are Naruto, Bleach, Dragon Ball, Daily, Rurouni Kenshin, Another World, DNF, Yukai, Cat and Mouse. The introduction is weak, the content is beautiful, really, you have to believe me. Chapter 1, The Three Uchiha Brothers. At night, the moon hangs high in the air, and the bright moonlight falls on the ground like frost on the ground. In a room in the center of the Uchiha clan, two young people were talking. Lingfeng, why don't you sleep so late? Tomorrow should be the final battle between us and the Qianshou family. After this battle is over, if we win, the country of fire will have no opponents. Uchiha Kwana glanced at Uchiha Lingfeng beside him and said aloud. Huh? Tomorrow is the time for the decisive battle? Second brother, you don't know that, although I opened the wheel, but with my three-legged cat's ninjutsu, I can really get on the battlefield. Hearing Quan Nai's words, Ling Feng hurriedly shook his head and lay on the bed like a salted fish. Ling Feng can't remember when he crossed, anyway, after he crossed over, due to the huge mental pressure, he opened the writing will I, which is said to be opened earlier than Uchiha Madara's writing will I. But later I don't know whether it was because of modern people or because Madara Uchiha protected his younger brother too well. Lingfeng only went to the battlefield once and never went to the battlefield again. He has been in charge of logistics in the family. At the beginning, the clansmen of the Uchiha family would still have a little voice, but at the back, Madara Uchiha accepted the position of the family patriarch, and this kind of voice gradually disappeared, and Ling Feng also felt at ease as a logistics staff. Huh, I knew that although eldest brother let you go to the battlefield every day, but except for the first time, what time did eldest brother let you go to the battlefield? You just stay at home for me tomorrow and wait for our triumphant return. Uchiha Izuna laughed out loud, reached out and rubbed Ling Feng's head, then walked out of the room. The final battle. I remember that the Uchiha family and the Senju family didn't seem to have a second brother when they fought the final battle. Does it mean that tomorrow's battle is not the real final battle, but the first few battles in the final battle, that is, the second brother? Will you be seriously injured by Senju Tobarama in the next few battles, and then die? Listening to Quan Nai's words, Ling Feng thought for a while in his mind, and suddenly found that he seemed to be able to recall some memories of his previous life, such as whether Quan Nai lived to establish Konoha village. This can't be done. I can't let the second brother die like this. Although Uchiha Kwana always bullied herself when she was young, if other children bullied her, Kwana would fight back directly. I have to say that in this somewhat indifferent family, Uchiha Madara and Kwana are both a person who truly treats himself well. Thinking of this, Ling Feng directly got up from the bed, thinking about whether to go to the battlefield with Quan Nai tomorrow. Depending on the situation, he directly dragged Quan Na to run away. Although his own ninjutsu is not very powerful, but if he escapes, Ling Feng believes that it is the thousand-hand Tobarama. If he wants to run, he can't even see his own exhaust. In the end, how are you going to follow Kwana and the others on the battlefield tomorrow without being discovered by the Senju family? Lingfeng took out a piece of paper from the drawer, ready to write down the action plan for tomorrow or later on the paper. The first step is to secretly follow them to the battlefield tomorrow, but with Madara and Kwana's perception ability, it is a bit difficult to hide from them. The second step is to find a suitable hiding place and hide there to prepare for a sneak attack or rescue. Soon, Ling Feng filled all the blank spaces on the paper. When did this appear? After writing the plan, when Ling Feng packed up his things and was about to go to sleep, his eyes swept to something that suddenly appeared on the table. It was a relatively flat cuboid exuding silver-white light. Ling Feng knew this thing. It was a mobile phone. Ling Feng clearly remembered that when he was writing his plan just now, the phone still didn't appear. At the level of the Warring States period, it is impossible to have a mobile phone, and I didn't have this mobile phone when I wrote the plan just now, so when did this mobile phone appear? Or did I have an illusion? Looking at the phone on the table, Ling Feng hurriedly took 2 steps back. Having lived in the Warring States era for more than 10 years, Ling Feng also clearly understood the ruthlessness of this era. If he would be assassinated in his family tomorrow, then Ling Feng would not be surprised at all. Ling Feng gritted his teeth, his hands quickly formed several handprints, and shouted, "Illusion, solution." Snapped. Madara, Uchiha and Kwana, who lived next door to Ling Feng, heard Ling Feng's cry, and hurriedly got up, and a telekinesis came to Ling Feng's room, and forced the door open. "Ling Feng, what's the matter? Why did I hear you talking about illusion?" Quan Nai looked at Ling Feng's movements and stepped forward to care. Ling Feng looked at Madara and Kwana who appeared in front of him, sneered, and said aloud, "Is it really an illusion? Even Madara and Kwana are here. If I didn't know Madara was still on the battlefield at this time, I might have been killed." "You lied." Without waiting for Quan Nai's hand to touch her, Ling Feng took a big step back, and didn't stop until her back touched the wall. When Ling Feng saw that Kwana was going to come forward, a flashing technique came to Madara Uchiha, shouting, "The dummy! Eat my leg!" The right hand of the body clenched a fist and punched Madara Uchiha directly with a fist. "Are you trying to relieve the pressure before the decisive battle?" Looking at the hammer towards his own fist, Ban snorted coldly, raised his left hand to catch Ling Feng's fist, then made a fist with his right hand, and punched Ling Feng's abdomen with a fist. Looking at Ling Feng with his hands covering his abdomen, Madara Uchiha said lightly, "Am I a dummy now? Do you want me to give you 2 more punches?" Feeling the pain in the abdomen, Ling Feng reacted and hurriedly said, "Really, you are real. What's the matter with you? Why do you suddenly say that you are in an illusion?" Quan Nai went up to support Ling Feng at this time, and asked aloud. "Because of that thing." Ling Feng rubbed his stomach and pointed at the phone on the table. "Stuff, what?" Madara glanced at the table and saw nothing on the table. "You can't see it?" Ling Feng looked at Madara's seemingly fake expression, and asked Quan Nai again, "You can't see it either?" When Quan Nai heard Ling Feng's words, she opened her own writing wheel, and then shook her head. "You're not playing tricks on us like before, are you?" Madara Uchiha remembered at this time that when his younger brother was young, he did a lot of stealing things. If he hadn't become the patriarch and Kwana was protecting him, he might have been beaten to death by his fellow clan a few years ago. This is the revised first chapter. Chapter 2 Uchiha Madara. But the turkey dog. "Okay, Ling Feng, go to bed early. Although tomorrow is the decisive battle between us and the Qianqiu family, you shouldn't be under too much pressure. Just take care of the logistics and leave the rest to us. We will wait for our triumphant return tomorrow." "Just fine." Quan Nai also felt that Ling Feng was fooling herself at this time, so she reached out and patted Ling Feng's shoulder, squinting her eyes and said, "Second brother, you are crazy about setting up flag." Ling Feng listened to Quan Nai's words, and complained fiercely in his heart, and said with a smile, "Well, you should rest early too." Afterwards, Ling Feng watched Madara and Kwana leave his room. They really can't see. In the end, Ling Feng's curiosity prevailed over his steady heart. Ling Feng cautiously walked to the table, swallowed his saliva, stretched out his hand like lightning, directly picked up the phone and took it in front of him to examine it carefully. It really is a cell phone. Ling Feng fiddled with it for a while and was quite sure that the flat cuboid in his hand was a mobile phone. According to the memory of the previous life, Ling Feng skillfully opened the page of the mobile phone, only to see that there was only one software standing there alone. There are only 3 words, "Chat Group," below the software icon. Ling Feng, who was an old bookworm in his previous life, reacted at once, "This is the meaning of cheating." Ling Feng is very clear that according to the routines of the online novel, he must be the group owner after he clicks in, and then he starts pulling people, and then he just pretends to be in front of those group members. Tell them about their fate and so on, and they will regard themselves as some kind of ancient power, and then they will be able to establish Konoha village, become Hokage, marry the big barrel Kagaya, and go to the pinnacle of life. Thinking of this, Ling Feng said nothing and clicked the icon of the chat group. Uchiha joins the group. Qianshou, why did the newcomers come in so slowly this time? They won't encounter any danger. Wave Wind, Uchiha. Is the newcomer from Hokage? In what period? GKD. Ling Feng just joined the group, and 2 messages were swiped at once. Obviously, the 2 people joined the group earlier than Ling Feng. What's the matter? Normally, I shouldn't be the first to join the group. Shouldn't the group owner be me? Why didn't you follow the routine? Also, what happened to this 1,000 hands? Could it be my nemesis Qianshou clan? The question is, why do the guys from the 1,000 hands have a chat group? What happened to this wave? I have the impression that there is only one person in Nikkei's Minato. Could this guy be the 4th generation? That's all decades later. Could it be that Nagamo Minato can already use mobile phones when he was still a tadpole? Or is it that there was a wave of wind in the Warring States period, but I didn't remember it? What exactly is going on? Looking at the 2 messages, Ling Feng felt that his head was a little swollen. Then he thought for a while, then slowly typed out a line of words and sent it out. Uchiha, hello everyone, Menshin is indeed in the Naruto world. Which world are you from? Qianshou, I wanted to post this picture for a long time, and now I finally have a chance. I didn't expect it, I'm also Naruto world.jpg. After seeing the picture sent by Qianshou, Bo Feng hurriedly followed one. Wave Wind, me too.jpg. Looking at the pictures sent by the 2, Ling Feng suddenly felt a little pain in his stomach. Uchiha, are the 2 bosses from Naruto world like me? Ling Feng took a deep breath, then quickly typed a line on the phone and sent it out. He was going to extract some information from the 2 of them. Qianshou, yes, I belong to the Qianshou family. Wave Wind, me too.jpg, but I belong to the Wave family, not the Qianshou family. Looking at the information of the 2, Ling Feng gritted his teeth and started at the guy called Qianshou. Uchiha, then you 2 will have a decisive battle tomorrow and we will have a decisive battle tomorrow, then you should just wait to die. Chiju, is tomorrow the final battle? It's okay, you can't beat my son anyway. Ling Feng looked at the message sent by Qianshou, and sneered a little. In his impression, in this Warring States period, except for Qianshou Zhuma, Uchiha Madara can be said to be invincible in the world. How much is Qianshou's son? Still not being rubbed against the ground by my big brother. Uchiha, who is your son? My eldest brother is Madara Uchiha, who can I beat? Chisho, so it's Madara. With such a familiar name, it seems that he is familiar with Madara. It seems that there is only one Senchu Hazuma in the Senchu family that is familiar with Madara, but does the Senchu Hazuma have a son, and who will it be? Ling Feng's brows were tightly wrinkled, trying to think about the person who matched this sentence in his mind. Chisho, my son is Chisho Hazuma, isn't he Madara? It's just a native chicken and a dog. I have a son named Qianshou Hazuma, who can kill Madara Uchiha. Looking at Qianshou's words, Ling Feng suddenly gushed out a mouthful of old blood, almost spitting out. Did you make a mistake? Isn't the 1,000 Hands Buddha dead long ago? He still died around the same time as his cheap dad Uchiha Taijima. Now you tell me you're still talking to me. Are you playing with your phone in the underworld now? Ling Feng took a deep breath, swallowed the old blood in his heart, and typed out a line of words on the phone with trembling hands. Uchiha, you think you are a 1,000-handed Buddha. If your Tobirama knew that you were pretending to be his father, he would kill you with a flying thunder god. Chisho, isn't that just a mere Tobirama? I told him to go east and he didn't dare to go west. When I told him to watch a boy take a bath, he didn't dare to watch a girl take a bath. Wave Wind, Chisho, you seem to have revealed some unspeakable secret. Bigu, alright, it's time for the newcomer to be amused, please explain to him quickly. At this time, another guy named Bigu appeared in the chat group. Obviously, this guy is also an old man, at least earlier than Ling Feng. All chat members are me Chapter 2. Bigu. Does Naruto World have this surname? Bikugu knew it himself, but Bigu himself didn't know it. Looking at this new person, Ling Feng searched in his mind who this guy was. Could it be someone from another world? After all, chat groups generally have members from different worlds, and it is relatively rare to have 3 or more members in the same world. Qianshou, alright, we won't tease you, you listen carefully, this is a shocking secret about our chat group. Wave Wind, so much nonsense, are you really me? GKD Is it really me? What's the meaning? Looking at the message from Bo Feng, Ling Feng frowned again. Qianshou, okay, don't worry, let me tell you slowly, after all, this is a relatively long story. Seeing this, Ling Feng couldn't help but go up and say something. Uchiha, so long story short. There will be 2 more changes tomorrow, weekly ask for a recommendation ticket. Chapter 3 Chat Group Members. Chisho, cough, first let me introduce myself, me. Indra's reincarnation rival Azura's reincarnation of Senju Hazuma and Senju Tobarama's biological old father, the uncrowned king of Konoha Ninja Village, the greatest diplomat, educator, writer, painter in the history of Konoha Ninja Village, Qianshou Lingfeng. Wave Wind, let me introduce myself too, me. Konoha Ninja Village's Yellow Flash 4th Hokage Naruto Minato's younger brother, the dream lover of countless girls, the life mentor of the ninja school, and one of the top 10 characters who touched Konoha, Naruto Lingfeng. Uchiha, why are your nicknames so long? Bigu, that's how they are. It's good to get used to it. I'm Bigu Lingfeng, a descendant of Feitian Yujianliu. Why does this group of people have the same name as me? They are all called Ling Feng. Seeing the message they sent, Ling Feng rubbed his eyes to confirm that he read it correctly. Uchiha, are you sure you didn't type the wrong name? Why is it called Ling Feng? Bigu, that's right. Qianshou, don't try it, we know what you're thinking. You are also Lingfeng.jpg. Wave Wind, yes, in fact, we are all Ling Feng. Qianshou, it's all Ling Feng. Uchiha Lingfeng was stunned for a moment, it's all Lingfeng. Uchiha, could it be that you are lying to me? By what means did you know my name, and then come to fool me now? Bigu, we didn't lie to you, in fact, we are the same person, a person named Lingfeng. Seeing these words from Bigu, Ling Feng felt that the worldview he had traveled through for more than 10 years had collapsed. Chiju, do you feel like your worldview is collapsing? We all come here like this, the worldview and so on, we get used to it, it's no big deal. Uchiha, my brain is a little messed up right now. Ling Feng rubbed his temples, trying to sort out his thoughts. Wave Wind, in general, we are you, and you are us. We are one. Uchiha, even if you say that, it's still a little hard to accept. Chisho, what's so hard to accept? Wave Wind, yes, it's no big deal, after all, we all know our own dark history and hidden secrets. Bigu, what's so hard to accept? Actually, you can think of us as your shadow clones in other worlds that won't disappear. If you think about it, will it be much better? Looking at Bigu's information, Ling Feng felt much better all of a sudden, and he would not have the same inexplicable emotion as before, feeling very uncomfortable. Looking at Qianshou and Bufeng's answers, Ling Fengqi didn't fight at the same place, it was also himself, why is the gap so big? So his hands quickly tapped on the phone, typed out a line of words and sent it out. Uchiha, why? Why is it the same person, why is Bigu's expression so much better than the two of you? Why? I now have reason to suspect that the two of you are not me, but me in the 2nd year of middle school. At thousands of hands, at waves. Senju, it's us who should ask why. Why the same person? Why is your comprehension so poor? When I listened to Bigu's explanation before, I immediately understood that, unlike you, you are shy about this and that. Looking at the words that Uchiha Lingfeng typed, Qianshou Lingfeng shook his head, and quickly typed out a line of words on the phone with both hands, leaving behind afterimages. Uchiha, because the person who explained it to you is Bigu. If Bigu explained it to me, then I would definitely understand it very quickly. Wave Wind, famous scene, I hate myself. JPG. Obviously, Bofeng Lingfeng is a fan of posting pictures, and he can find a picture that fits the atmosphere no matter what. Bigu, alright, stop arguing, the old rules, tell me about your world and name. Bigu, I am in the world of Rurouni Kenshin, my full name is Bigu Lingfeng, and I am Kenshin's younger brother. Qianshou, I am in Naruto world number 1, my full name is Qianshou Lingfeng, and I am the biological old father of Hashima and Tobirama. Naruto, I am in Naruto world number 2, my full name is Naruto Lingfeng, and I am Minato's long-lost younger brother. Uchiha, why are there so many Naruto worlds? And in order, am I the number 3 Hokage? Thousand Hands, parallel world, understand. Quickly report information in our format. Wave Wind, gkd.jpg. Uchiha, I am in Naruto world number 3, my full name is Uchiha Lingfeng, the younger brother of Madara and Izuna. Suddenly, Qianshou Lingfeng, who was originally lying on the bed, saw the message sent by Uchiha Lingfeng, and sat up directly. Qianshou, then don't you want to call me uncle or dad? Pafong, I am my father. Uchiha, climb. Qianshou, okay, no kidding, now the meeting is over, and the newcomer assessment has ended successfully. What to do? Go home. At this time, Uchiha Lingfeng remembered that he still had something very important to say, and hurriedly typed on his mobile phone. Uchiha, come back first. I want to ask, we Uchiha will have a decisive battle with the Senju family in my world tomorrow. According to the plot, won't Kwana be seriously injured in the next few battles and then die? What I want to ask is how to save him. Chisato, what do you know? Uchiha, I can do the shunjutsu, the three-body jutsu, and the ninjutsu that escapes anyway, but the output ninjutsu is relatively small. Bofeng, it's not bad for me. JPG, I really understand the importance of life. If nothing else, first learn the skills of escaping. I couldn't believe it just now, but now I can be sure that you are me. Uchiha, don't blow it, just help me think about it, how can I save the soldier Izuna? Bigu, there are our memories and skills in the group file, you can check it out. The files there will be updated automatically, and you will also upload a copy there. According to Bigu Lingfeng's instructions, Uchiha Lingfeng successfully clicked on the group file, and then downloaded it. The network speed of this chat group is very fast, and within a second, it prompts that the download is successful. Ling Feng looked at the downloaded file and directly clicked the Qianshou file with great interest. In an instant, Uchiha Lingfeng has learned all the memories and skills of the Qianshou Lingfeng from birth to the present. After learning about it, Uchiha Lingfeng felt that he was more fortunate than Qianshou Lingfeng. Because Qianshou Lingfeng was on the battlefield as soon as he opened his eyes, he was born in the Uchiha family anyway. After Qianshou Lingfeng successfully survived the battlefield, he found that Qianshou Hazuma and Qianshou Tobirama were already teenagers, so he directly threw the position of Qianshou Patriarch to Hazuma without saying a word. As a retiree. Then Senju Hazuma really did not disappoint him, and in just a few years, he overcame the Uchiha family and established the Konoha Ninja Village. The first update is here, and there is another update tonight. Chapter 4 I Feel Stable. After Uchiha Lingfeng learned about Qianshou Lingfeng's memory, he also got his chakra and the ninjutsu and taijutsu he currently masters. What made him most delighted was the fact that he had mastered the magic power and the 5-layered Rashomon psychic technique. As for Qianshou Juma's immortality and Muduan, Qianshou Lingfeng has no grasp of it, so he can only ask Tobirama if he can get the Muduan from him. After reading Qianshou Lingfeng's memory, Uchiha Lingfeng opened the file of Bofeng Lingfeng again. At the same moment, Uchiha Lingfeng watched the memories and skills mastered by Lingfeng from birth to the present. Namikaze Minato and Namikaze Lingfeng were born in a businessman's family since childhood. The two brothers gradually grew up. Among them, Namikaze Minato was determined to be a Hokage since he was a child, while Namikaze Lingfeng was determined to hold his brother's thigh since he was a child. Time has gradually come to the Third Ninja War. Minato Namikaze relied on the technique of flying thunder gods to be brilliant in the ninja world, while Lingfeng Namikaze relied on first-hand logistical support to ensure backup for the ninjas on the front line. Of course, Minato in this world also accepted Kakashi, Obito, and Lin as disciples. Of course, due to the existence of Lingfeng, Konoha Baya in this world did not commit suicide, so Kakashi did not fall into a state of autism. Uchiha Obito was not bewitched by Madara, and everything was basically developing in a good direction. After learning about the memory, Uchiha Lingfeng also got some ninjutsu and swordsmanship of Lingfeng. Among them, what surprised Uchiha Lingfeng the most was that he actually had Minato's Flying Thunder technique. The reason is that after Minato had learned how to fly Thor, he asked Minato to teach himself how to fly Thor. It can be said that in the number 2 Hokage world, Minato and Lingfeng have the fastest speeds in the entire ninja world. Fast. After seeing this skill, Uchiha Lingfeng immediately became excited. You must know that during the 4th Ninja War, Shensho Tobarama admitted that Minato's Flying Thunder technique was faster than his Flying Thunder of. Of course, the skills Uchiha Lingfeng acquired were not only the technique of Flying Thunder gods, but also the sword technique of White Fang. As for Big Lingfeng, Uchiha Lingfeng also got Feitian Yujianliu's moves from him. After reading the 3 people's memories, Ling Feng also uploaded his own memories and skills to the group file. What surprised him the most was that his writing will eyes could also be uploaded. Great harvest, great harvest. Feeling that his chakra has grown several times, the corners of Uchiha Lingfeng's mouth rose wildly, and his smile gradually became presumptuous. Fortunately, he also knew that it was night, and if he laughed too loudly, Madara and Kwanna next door might come and beat him. According to Bo Feng Lingfeng's memory, gather chakra, write down the spell, and then feel the chakra in the spell. Lingfeng took out a pen and a piece of paper from the drawer according to what he remembered, and then wrote the Flying Thunder God technique on the paper, and then closed his eyes to sense the chakra of the Flying Thunder God technique. There is. It didn't take long for Ling Feng to sense the chakra of the spell. Then he picked up the piece of paper and threw it into the sky. Ling Feng ran chakra. The next second, he grabbed the piece of paper with his entire hand and appeared in midair. Success. After successfully launching the Flying Thunder God, Ling Feng wrote several more Flying Thunder God spells, and then the whole person flew around the room. After flying for almost half an hour, Ling Feng stopped. Now he can be sure that he has completely mastered the technique of Flying Thunder God, and the matter of saving Kwanna in the decisive battle tomorrow has been stabilized. Then let's start to test the magic power. Ling Feng put away the technique of Flying Thunder God, quietly pushed open the door and walked out. There was no such hard rock in his room, and Ling Feng didn't intend to hit the ground with a punch like Tsunade Sakura and the others. He wanted to see if he could crush the stone with one hand now, so that the sound would be weaker and would not wake Madara and Kwanna. After strolling around in the yard for a few times, Ling Feng found several stones that looked relatively hard. He first took out a stone. Without the blessing of chakra, he only pinched the stone with his own strength. Ling Feng gritted his teeth, his eyes widened, and he squeezed the stones in his hand into pieces with all his strength. Looking at the broken stones, Ling Feng nodded with satisfaction. Then he ran the strange chakra on his hand, and took out a stone and held it in his hand. This time, Ling Feng grasped the palm of his hand, and before he could react, the stone in his hand turned into powder and slipped from his fingers. Is it so top? Looking at the powder gradually disappearing from his hands, Ling Feng suddenly became excited. Now the ninjutsu that he attacks is Uchiha's fire escape, the swordsmanship has the swordsmanship of Feitian Yujianliu and Shirato, and the taijutsu has strange power. It can be said that as long as he does not die, he will not die at all. Follow Kwanna and the others to the battlefield secretly tomorrow, and then protect him secretly. If Madara is concerned, you don't need to protect him. Who else can't beat him except Hazuma? Even if Hazuma beat Madara, it will be fine. The old silver coin in the door. In Ling Feng's memory, Quan Na seemed to be seriously injured by Tobarama's Flying Thunder technique, otherwise Quan Na, who would not reveal flaws, would not have been injured. Thinking of this, Ling Feng returned to his room with peace of mind, put the phone on the head of his bed, and went to bed. All chat members are me Chapter 3. Brother, what do you think? Just after Ling Feng entered the door, Quan Nai, who was behind the crack of the door, glanced at Madara beside him and asked aloud. Ling Feng has his own secrets, I just need to protect you in this warring states period. Madara sat aside and closed her eyes. What about your ideals? Didn't you say that you wanted to end the warring states and bring peace to mankind? When Kwanna heard Madara's answer, she shook her head with a smile and asked aloud. Then I have to wait until you are safe. Now I am not strong enough. When I am strong enough and no one in the world can stop me, I will bring peace to mankind. Madara slowly opened his eyes, revealing his constantly rotating kaleidoscope writing wheel, and said excitedly. The decisive battle tomorrow is our ideal first step. Then we will give Lingfeng a peaceful era. Kwanna also opened his kaleidoscope writing wheel. Tomorrow is the decisive battle, you have a good rest. Madara finished speaking, then got up and disappeared into the room. At this time, Ling Feng, who had no idea that his two brothers were discussing major life events, was still lying on the bed and slept happily. The second update is complete, can you give me some recommended tickets? Chapter 5 Battle. The next day, the sky was still gray, and black clouds hung high above the sky, overlapping and adding together, as if they would fall down at any time. Ling Feng, wake up. When Uchiha Lingfeng was sleeping, Jingxiang, Quan Na's voice came from his ear. So it's Kwanna and Madara. What's wrong? He slowly opened his sleepy eyes and looked at the two people standing in front of him. We are going to the battlefield now. You manage the logistics of the family well, and then just wait for our triumphant return. Quan Nai looked at Ling Feng, who still didn't wake up, and said with a smile. Huh? So early? Hearing Quan Nai's words, Ling Feng, who was still dozing, suddenly woke up, sat up straight from the bed, and stared at Madara and Quan Nai tightly. You know, this is war. Madara was still the same as usual, clasping his hands on his chest, and said coldly. Okay, it's time for us to go, just stay home and wait for us to come back. Quan Nai patted Ling Feng on the shoulder, ready to get up and walk out. Wait. Looking at the movements of the two, Ling Feng hurriedly stopped Madara and Kwanna, who were about to walk out of the room. Then Ling Feng jumped out of bed and took out the Flying Thunder God formula he had finished drawing from the drawer and handed it to the two of them. This is the technique of Flying Thunder God. If you encounter any danger, you can inject a little chakra into it, and then you can arrive immediately. Ling Feng put the technique into the hands of the two of them and said seriously. Am I in danger? Banana snorted coldly and said proudly. However, with Madara's strength, almost no one could hurt him in this era. Of course I know, you're just passing by. Ling Feng looked at Madara and rolled his eyes. Of course, he swallowed this sentence in his heart and did not say it, but explained it to Kwanna seriously. Okay, I see. Looking at Ling Feng's solemn appearance, Quan Na smiled and put the technique into his arms. Like Madara, he also thought that he would not encounter any danger. After all, in the entire Uchiha family, his strength is second only to Madara, and he has the very cautious title of not showing flaws. However, thinking that this was Ling Feng's intention, Quan Nai still seriously put the technique into his arms. We should go. Seeing that Ling Feng was all right, Ban said, and took the lead out of the room and walked towards the outside of the clan. We're leaving, you have to manage the family well. Quan Nai glanced at Madara, who was the first to walk out the door, explained to Ling Feng, and followed directly. Looking at them, they don't seem to believe it. Looking at the movements of the two, Ling Feng shared the expressions and language of the two with himself in the chat group. Qian Shou, of course, just based on your appearance of a salted fish before, if it were me, I wouldn't believe it. Bo Feng, you just keep up with them secretly, and then observe in the dark. You can do it at any time. Anyway, they all have Flying Thunder Gods on them. Uchiha, you are right, as expected of me. I'll look for equipment and weapons and follow. At the same time, Madarawa Izuna, who had gathered the clansmen outside the clan, was talking. Why, you don't need it. Why do you still put the spell in your arms? Kwanna glanced at Madara beside him and said in a teasing tone. This is his intention. Madara glanced at Kwanna, and continued to maintain his cold expression. Okay, let's go. Madara turned her head to look at the clansmen who had already assembled, and then rushed towards the battlefield without looking back. Ugh! Seeing Madara's movements, Kwanna sighed, looked back at the clan behind her, and followed Madara's pace, rushing towards the battlefield. Already set off. I'll follow secretly. At this time, Ling Feng's figure came out of the clan, looked at the crowd that had disappeared from sight, and followed secretly. When the sky was completely clear, the Uchiha clan came to the battlefield, while the Qianshou clan on the opposite side had been waiting here for a long time. Madara. Are you sure you want to continue fighting with us? The man on the opposite side, who was wearing red armor and had long black hair, hurriedly said after seeing Madara. It was Senju Hashima who was speaking. That's right. Fire escape, the art of fireball. Madara looked at the opposite Hazuma, without saying a word, and directly sprayed the fire dunge towards the Hashirama with one hand. Water escape, the technique of water dragon bombs. Seeing this, Tobirama quickly formed a seal, and a water dragon appeared from the side of Tobirama, and slammed directly into Madara's fireball. The fireball and the water dragon collided, directly producing a huge water mist that almost covered the entire battlefield. Such a big mist. They must be fighting. Ling Feng, who was still a long way from the battlefield, saw the water mist that suddenly appeared in the direction of the battlefield, and immediately understood that Uchiha and Chisho were fighting, so he accelerated and ran towards it. Tobirama, your opponent is me. Seeing Tobirama's movements, Kwanna glared, directly activated the shaker, and then charged towards Tobirama with a samurai sword in hand. With Kwanna's order, the battle horn sounded. Madara against the battle column. Kwanna fights Tobirama. It can be said that it is king to king, and will be the general. By the time Lingfeng arrived at the battlefield, the two ethnic groups had already formed a group. Go to hell. A thousand-handed clansman kicked the Uchiha clansman out, and then jumped directly in front of the Uchiha clansman. The samurai sword in his hand stabbed the Uchiha clansman's heart directly. Seeing the merciless movements of the thousand hands, the Uchihas closed their eyes helplessly, waiting for the arrival of death. But after waiting for a long time, he didn't feel the tip of the knife piercing the flesh, so he opened his eyes. It's not a good habit to close your eyes on the battlefield. Ling Feng punched the Qianshou clan directly, looking at the Uchiha clan next to him and said aloud. Ling. Lord Lingfeng. The Uchiha clan who survived under the knife looked at Ling Feng beside him and stammered. You find a place to hide. Ling Feng left a sentence and ran towards the center of the battlefield. He just wanted to find Quan Nai right now. Ha, ha. The two in the center of the battlefield gasped. In the battle just now, Kwanna and Tobirama had consumed most of their chakra. Suddenly, Kwanna rushed in front of Senju Tabima with the sword in hand, and the samurai sword in her hand stabbed straight at Senpa Tabima. Tobirama held the samurai sword in both hands and slashed, blocking Kwanna's attack. It's just that Kwanna's attack was a trick to get close to Tobirama. At this time, Kwanna's goal has been achieved. Quan Na's eyes were fixed on Tobirama, and her eyes immediately changed to the writing wheel and released the illusion directly on Tobirama. Tobirama closed his eyes subconsciously after seeing Shirinyan. Seeing this, Kwanna directly kicked Tobirama's stomach with one leg, and the fist clenched in his hand directly hit Tobirama's face, knocking Tobirama flying out and hitting a stone. Thank you for the recommended and monthly tickets of Wind Scar. This is the first update, and there will be another update tonight. Well, I didn't consider that the Flying Thunder God technique is universal before, and now I understand it and I can't change it, so it can be regarded as a modification of the setting. The protagonist's Flying Thunder God technique is not universal with other people's Flying Thunder God. Chapter 6000 Han Tobirama. But so. Art Fire Escape Fireball. Looking at Tobirama flying backwards, Kwanna took a deep breath, and then directly spewed a large fireball towards Tobirama. Water Escape. The technique of water dragon bullets. Tobirama, who had just stopped, looked at the fireball flying towards him, and his hands quickly formed seals. Following Yuin's movements, a pool of water immediately appeared beside him. Under Tobirama's control, this pool of water directly turned into a water dragon and hit the fireball. The two collided, and a water mist was generated again, and this water mist directly wrapped the figures of both of them. Looking at the water mist that appeared not far away, Ling Feng suddenly understood that this was the scene of Quan Nai's death, and directly sensed the Flying Thunder God technique on Quan Nai's body. Seeing that Izumi's vision was blocked by the mist, Tobarama took out several kunai from his pocket, and then shifted his position. And Quan Nai looked at the water mist all around, and the whole person's spirit was tightly stretched into a rope, and he scanned the surroundings seriously. Not long after, several kunai suddenly slid out from behind Quanah, and their target was exactly Quanah's flaw. Quanah heard Pekong's voice, and when she turned her head, she saw a pile of kunai flying straight towards her. A mindless attack. Quanah saw through kunai's flight path at a glance, tilted her head slightly, and avoided kunai's attack. Remorse that you didn't write the wheel eye. Quanah looked at the direction where Kunwo was flying, and the corners of her mouth raised slightly. He was ready, and when the mist cleared, all attacks would fall on Tobarama's body. This is the time. Tobarama calculated the speed of kunai's flight, and when the kunai with the Flying Thunder God logo flew in front of Quanah, he directly activated the Flying Thunder God technique, and the whole person appeared in front of Quanah at once. The samurai's sword in his hand stabbed directly towards Quanah's chest. All chat members are me Chapter 4. When Lingfeng felt Tobarama launched the Flying Thunder God, he also directly launched the Flying Thunder God technique, standing in front of Quanah, and the kuwu in his hand blocked Tobarama's attack. Who are you? Why are you here? Tobarama stared sternly. Ling Feng, who suddenly appeared and blocked his attack, hurriedly took a few steps back, widening the distance between himself and Ling Feng. Ling Feng. Why are you here? The water mist dissipated. Looking at Ling Feng standing in front of him, Quanah asked in surprise. Me? My name is Uchiha Lingfeng. I'm just a logistician who came to rescue the wounded. Ling Feng clenched the dagger in his hand and said in a relaxed tone. Uchiha Lingfeng. Are you the younger brother of Madara and Izuna? As the mortal enemy of the Uchiha family, Chisho Tobarama naturally knew that Madara and Izuna had a younger brother who had only been on the battlefield once and had been handling logistics in the family. Why are you here? Go back, this is the battlefield. Quanah pulled Ling Feng directly behind her, blocked Tobarama's sight with her body, and clenched the samurai sword in her hand. Kunai, to be honest, if I hadn't blocked the sword for you just now, you would have been seriously injured when you were hit by Tobarama. Ling Feng looked at Quan Nai who was standing in front of him, and a trace of warmth flowed through his heart. Of course I know. I'll say thanks when I go back. Now I have this trick to guard against Tobarama. Quan Nai widened her riding will eyes and said seriously. How can you be my Flying Thunder God? At this time, standing opposite, Jinsho Tobarama, who had been silent for a long time, asked Ling Feng aloud. Although he didn't want to admit it, Tobarama still felt that the speed of the opposite Uchiha Lingfeng Thor seemed to be faster than himself. My Flying Thunder God. Of course I learned it from Namafeng Minato. As soon as Ling Feng's voice fell, the whole person disappeared from Tobarama's field of vision. In the next second, Ling Feng held Kawujia around Jinsho Tobarama's neck. When? Seeing Ling Feng suddenly appearing beside him, Tobarama was startled and took a half step back. Don't move around, what if I accidentally hurt you? I don't know if you will have the same perverted self-healing ability as your big brother. After all, I'm only on the battlefield for the second time. Looking at Tobarama who had stepped back half a step, the kunwu in Ling Feng's hand took a step closer to Tobarama's neck, stabbing a little wound. Then don't put kuwu around my neck. Although Tobarama thought so in his heart, he still showed a helpless smile on the surface and said aloud, then what do you want to do? Chuan-nai, what do you say? Ling Feng did not answer, but threw the question to Quan Nai. He is our captive now, and we can use him to threaten Senju Hashima and make him surrender. Quan Na came directly in front of Tobarama, and the riding will eyes in his eyes turned rapidly, forming a kaleidoscope riding will eye. After the two looked at each other for a second, Jinsho Tobarama went into a coma. Chuan-nai, what did you do to him? Why did you faint? Looking at Quan Nai in front of him, Ling Feng asked aloud. This is my ability, now let's go to Hazuma. Quan Na whispered in Ling Feng's ear, then grabbed Tobarama and walked towards Madara. That's my captive. Looking at Quan Nai's figure, Ling Feng called out from behind and followed directly. The two brought Tobarama to the place where Madara and Hazuma were fighting. Madara and Hashirama's battle was extremely destructive, and it could be said that the place where the two were located could no longer be seen as the original landform. Senju Hazuma, stop. Otherwise, the fate of your brother Chisho Tobarama is hard to say. Kwana came to Madara's back and raised Chisho Toramara high, with the samurai sword in her hand splayed across Torama's neck. The door. Hazuma looked at Kwana's movements, hurriedly jumped back a distance, his eyes were fixed on Kwana, and after years of getting along, he naturally understood that the Tobarama in Kwana's hand was real, not just any Uchiha clansman. Changed. What do you want? Xianshou Zhujian took a deep breath and said aloud. How did you come? Madara, who stopped and came to Quan Nai's side, glanced at Ling Feng and asked suspiciously. Of course he's here to save the dying. Tobarama was caught by me. Ling Feng reached out and patted Ban's shoulder, proudly looking like a that won a fight. Well done. Listening to Ling Feng's words, Madara glanced at Quan Na next to her. Quan Nai nodded, indicating that Ling Feng was not lying, and the corners of Madara's mouth raised slightly. Are you Uchiha Ling Feng? Did you defeat Tobarama? Hazuma, who was standing in front of the three Uchiha brothers, naturally heard the conversation of the three and asked suspiciously. That's right. Hashimama, you have already failed, go back with your clansmen in despair. We Uchiha won this war. Madara clasped her hands on her chest and said proudly. Okay, but when will Tobarama be released? Hazuma thought for a while, then nodded and asked Tobarama. He's our captive now, wait for the meeting in a few days, we'll talk about it then. Quan Na coldly glanced at the opposite Senju Hashirama, and said indifferently. That's fine, but you have to keep Tobarama safe. Now that he is stronger than people, Xianshou Hashirama reluctantly agreed to Kwana's request. We will. The second one is complete. Chapter 7 Madara's Dream. At night, in the Uchiha clan, at the Nanga Shrine. Many Uchiha clansmen are secretly meeting here. Kunai, how is that Senju Tobarama? Sitting in the center of the crowd, Madara Uchiha glanced at Kwana, who was late, and asked aloud. I have temporarily sealed his chakra, he has been hit by my kaleidoscope, and now he has fallen into my illusion. It will take at least 2 days to wake up, and our clansmen are watching over, now don't be afraid of him running away. Kwana closed the door, walked to Madara's side and sat down. Okay, now the meeting starts, about us and the Senju family, and about the handling of Tobarama. Madara raised her head and glanced around with her scarlet eyes. All the Uchiha clansmen present were swept away by Madara's eyes, and all lowered their heads, not daring to look at him. Cough, Lingfeng, what do you think? Quan Nai saw that the atmosphere on the field was a little dignified at this time, coughed, and turned to look at the younger brother beside him. Huh? Why did you ask me? It's not like you don't know that I am a salted fish, and I have never participated in any major clan events. Now you suddenly come to ask me. How do I know? When Ling Feng heard Quan Nai's words, his face suddenly became embarrassed. Tell me what you think, didn't you always say what if there was peace, what would you do if there was peace? Now that we have defeated the Thousand Hands family, in the entire country of fire, we can say that we have achieved peace, and now you can tell me what you think. Madara touched his chin and said with a playful expression. This. Looking at Madara's expression, Ling Feng couldn't tell whether he was serious or just joking. Ahem, Lord Lingfeng, since Madame Madara has already said it, you can talk freely. After all, Sir Lingfeng, you are so powerful that you can even be compared to Lord Kwana. The people present are all the confidants of our Uchiha family, there can be no spies of other families or anything, just say it. We've always wanted to hear what Lord Lingfeng thinks. That is, you must know that since Lord Lingfeng took over the logistics of our Uchiha family's food and tasks have increased year by year, and they have become the richest family in the country of fire. Yes, Lord Lingfeng. Che, I believe you bastards, Ling Feng cursed in his heart when he looked at the Uchiha clansmen who were suddenly excited. He clearly remembered that this group of hanging hairs had said in private that if Madara was not the patriarch, he, a waste who had never been on the battlefield, would have been expelled from the family. Seeing that the atmosphere is a bit wrong now, I immediately let myself be a standout. Hanging hairs, I have written down this hatred. Ling Feng thought fiercely in his heart. Cough, then I'll say it. Ling Feng cleared his throat and said, I have something to say, please listen carefully. Don't talk about these words, we are not going to see the big name. Madara interrupted Ling Feng's words directly and glared at Ling Feng. Mara, do you remember that you told Hazuma about your dream before? Remember. Madara closed her eyes and said aloud. When Madara, Uchiha and Chisho Hazuma met when they were children, they talked about their dreams. I want to be honest with others and not hide from each other, to build a village where children don't have to fight each other, adults choose tasks according to their own strength, and a village where children don't have to go to the front line to fight for their lives. I want to build a village where children can grow up peacefully and live happily. Madara picked up the fallen leaves that had been blown in by the wind and looked at them seriously. In the whole country of fire, our Uchiha family and the Senju family are the strongest. We can cooperate with them to build a village together, and then gradually absorb other families to form peace in the country of fire. Ling Feng racked his brains for a moment and said aloud. Lord Lingfeng, what about our dead brothers and sisters? They died in vain. As soon as Ling Feng finished speaking, someone immediately objected. Otherwise, what do you want? Kwanna asked aloud at this time. Of course it is to kill the Qianqiu family, only to cut off all the blood of the Qianqiu family. The man clenched his fist hard and said as a matter of course. What about our family? The rabbit will bite you when you are in a hurry, let alone the Qianqiu family. Ling Feng looked at the person who spoke with the eyes of an idiot. This. Indeed, this is the only way to establish peace in the land of fire. I will go to the Thousand Hands family tomorrow and talk to them in detail in 2 days. Madara put down the leaves in her hands and said in a determined tone. But Madam Madara. The man still wanted to speak. Are you disobeying my order? Madara folded her arms in front of her chest and asked aloud. All chat members are me chapter 5. No, no. The man felt the chakra released by Madara, and subconsciously took 2 steps back and hurriedly waved his hand. Then it's decided. As for the people who go to the Qianqiu family, I will go there in person. After speaking, Madara stood up and wanted to leave. Wait, big brother, I don't think it's good if you go, otherwise the Qianqiu family thinks we are going to fight them to the death. I think it's better if Lingfeng goes. Kwanna stood up and stopped Madara who wanted to leave. What? Lying on the ground, Ling Feng, who was eating melons and fruits, was stunned when he heard Quan Nai's words. Brother, think about how many Qianqiu people's blood you have in your hands, and Lingfeng has never been on the battlefield except for the first time and this time. It also shows that he has never killed Qianqiu people, and his flying thunder god with such a fast speed, you can run back even if you can't agree. I think Ling Feng is the best candidate. Quan Nai glanced at Ling Feng beside him, and slowly explained to Madara. I think so too. Madara found that what Kwanna said was correct, and after thinking about it carefully, there was some truth to it. And Madara knows that her eloquence is not very good. Compared with Quan Na and Ling Feng, it is almost 2 days apart. If they can't talk about it, they should fight. Thinking of this, Madara decides that Ling Feng will be the one who will negotiate with Senju's house tomorrow. Hey! Where's my opinion? Quan Na, I saved you today. You can't treat me like this, I have no credit or hard work. I have made merit for the Uchiha family, and I have shed blood for the Uchiha family. I want to see a protest. Ling Feng immediately objected. The objection is invalid. Have a good rest tonight and leave early tomorrow. The corners of Ban's mouth rose slightly and said aloud. The next day, Ling Feng, who had been talking to the Uchiha tribe all night, ran over to the Qianqiu tribe with dark circles under his eyes. Of course, Quan Na went with him. The first update is completed, and there is another update at night. Chapter 8 Establishment of Konoha Village. Under the leadership of Quan Nai, Ling Feng and Quan Nai ran for a whole morning before they reached the vicinity of the Thousand Hand clan. Stop, this is the clan of Qianqiu, you can't move forward. The two of them had just walked in front of a forest when a few kunai shot from their feet, stopping their pace, and then two figures walked out of the forest. "You are from Uchiha? What are you doing here? Do you want to fight to the death?" One of them saw Ling Feng in Chuan-Nai's clothes, recognized their family, and immediately took out Kou's guard. "I'm here to block them, you go and inform His Majesty." One of them blocked Ling Feng in Quanna's sight with a samurai sword in his hand, and said aloud to the Qianshou clan behind him. The man behind him didn't say a word, and ran quickly in the direction of the clan. Hey, don't be nervous. We are good people. We didn't come to fight you to the death, but to send you an armistice agreement." Looking at the movements of the Qianshou tribe, Ling Feng hurriedly raised one hand, and the other hand took out a letter from his arms and held it high. "Real?" The Qianshou tribe looked at Ling Feng's movements and asked with some doubts. "Of course it is true, we are here waiting for your patriarch to come." Quanna also spoke at this time. It didn't take long for Qianshou Zhujian to bring a group of clansmen to the front of Ling Feng in Quan-Nai. "Yo, it seems that your spirit is not bad." Looking at Qianshuzuma, Quanna said with a smile. "What are you here for?" Qianshou Zhujian frowned and asked the two of them aloud. "We're here to deliver a truce." Ling Feng raised the envelope in his hand, then reached out and threw it. Yuma easily caught the envelope, not afraid of the poisonous powder inside, so he ripped open the envelope and watched it. "Hashima-sama, what's inside?" The clansmen beside Qianshou Hazuma saw that the more he looked at the frowns, the more they asked. "Is it true?" Qianshou Zhujian did not respond to the clansmen around him, but raised the envelope and asked Ling Feng and Quan Nai aloud. "Of course it's true, this letter was written by my elder brother Madara Uchiha." Ling Feng raised his brows and said confidently. So that's true, Madara didn't forget our agreement. If you go back and tell Madara, just say I agreed." Qianshou Zhujian put the envelope again and threw it back to Ling Feng. "Hashima-sama, what exactly did you promise?" Seeing Hasuma's excited look, the Qianshou clan people felt a sense of unease gushing out. They knew very well how unreliable their patriarch was. Originally, there was still his younger brother Senju Tobarama watching him. But Qianshou Tobarama has been captured by the Uchiha family, which also means that no one can watch Hazuma now, and he can't pull it back if he wants to go crazy. The envelope says that the Uchiha family is going to let go of the previous hatred and build a ninja village with our family, so that peace will come. Qianshou Zhujian touched his head and said carelessly. "What? Hashimama-sama, did you agree to that?" When the clansmen heard Hasuma's words, they were shocked and hurriedly asked. "Yes. What's wrong with this?" "I think what's wrong with letting go of hatred and forming a ninja village?" Hazuma looked suspiciously at the clansman behind him. "Who is that leader? Is it from the Uchiha family?" When the clansmen saw that Hazuma was determined to agree to the Uchiha family, they asked about the position of the leader. "Looks like a spot. This can't be done, how can Madara Uchiha be the leader of our family?" The Qianshou people immediately objected. "You have to be clear, you lost the previous war." At this time, Quanna, who had been standing there watching the play, said aloud. "This is also something that can't be helped, Tobarama is still in their hands." Hazuma put his hand on the shoulders of the tribe and shook his head. All right. When the Qianshou people heard Hasuma's words, their originally clenched fists reluctantly loosened, and said feebly. "When you go back, tell Madara, we agreed with Qianshou, and we will release Tobarama as soon as possible." Qianshou Zhujian walked in front of Ling Feng and Quan Nai and said with a serious expression. "No problem." After Ling Feng finished speaking, he returned to the Uchiha clan with Quan Nai's flying thunder technique. "Is this the god of thunder? Can you still bring people?" Quan Nai looked around and said in surprise after confirming that she had really returned to the Uchiha clan. After 3 days, witnessed by many Uchiha clansmen and Senju clansmen, the two clans let go of their previous hatred and came to a new place to establish a shinobi village. The name of Shinobu village is the forehead of the model, called Konoha. The name Hokage came from the pillars. After the establishment of Shinobi Village, the two clans debated for a long time about the position of the leader, and finally confirmed Madara as the first Hokage, and Chisho Tobarama's request was to set up another Hokage deputy, saying that in case Hokage is not there, it can be hosting Konoha Village. After a while of wrangling, Madara and the others finally agreed to the establishment of Hokage's deputy. Of course, the position of Hokage's deputy fell on Senju Hazuma, who didn't know what happened. Madara. You need to take a break from your appearance, or your head will not be able to be carved on the rock. Today, in Hokage's office, Hazuma clapped one hand on the table and said loudly. I feel good, really bad. Banana glanced at the mirror in the room and asked the people in the office doubtfully. Ling Feng, Quan Na, Hazuma and Tobarama all looked at each other and nodded their heads in unison. Then what do you want to change? Madara hesitated for a while, and after confirming that the group of people did not lie to him, he said slowly. Bald? Don't people say that being bald makes you stronger? I think bald is better. Ling Feng circled Ban twice and suggested. Roll. Ban immediately rejected Ling Feng's proposal to let Ban shave his head. How is it possible, even if I die and jump from here, I won't shave my head? Are you like me? Hashima was also interested at this time, and hurried to Madara's face, and then dipped his hands in water, softening Madara's hair and becoming just like himself. I don't think so. Quan Nai looked at it and directly expressed her opinion. What about the inch? At this time, Tobarama also said aloud. Everyone imagined the appearance of Uchiha Madara's inch head, and smiles immediately appeared on their faces, but they all tried hard to hold back, looking like they wanted to laugh but didn't dare to laugh. Everyone expressed their opinions, but one after another was rejected. A midpoint, I think a midpoint is quite appropriate. At this time, Ling Feng remembered Itachi's hairstyle, put it on Ban's head, and hurriedly said it. Then he went forward and parted the freckled hair on both sides. I think so. When everyone saw Madara's appearance at this time, they all felt good. And just like that, Madara's new hairstyle was decided. The second one is complete. If there is anything wrong, please point it out and I will correct it. Chapter 9 Newcomers join the group. Looking at Madara Uchiha's middle-pointed appearance, Ling Feng quickly took out his mobile phone from his arms, took a photo of Madara and sent it to the group. Chisho, this is the spot of your world. Why is his hair like this? Bo Feng, one thing to say, Madara's hairstyle is pretty good, at least much better than his previous hairstyle. Although his previous hairstyle looked handsome, it was obvious that he was not someone to mess with. Now the hairstyle looks so much kinder. Chisho, indeed. Bigu, indeed. Okay, let's decide like this. When the time comes, you can talk to the person who sculpted it, and sculpt it according to this hairstyle. Madara said slowly after looking in the mirror for a long time. Hakuma nodded his head, turned around Madara seriously twice, remembered Madara's current appearance in his mind, and walked out of Hokage's office to find the sculptor. Then what else do you do? Madara saw Hazuma go to work, and asked the remaining three aloud. All chat members are me. Chapter 6. Madara, tomorrow is our meeting with the daimyo. Who are you going to take to see the daimyo tomorrow? At this time Tobarama took out a piece of paper from his arms, looked at it, and asked aloud. Tomorrow, I, you, and Ling Feng will go to meet the daimyo together. Kwana stays in the village to protect the villagers. Banana thought for a while, then said aloud. No, Madara, I still have something to do. You can take Kwana there tomorrow. I will stay in the village to protect the villagers, and I can also take care of the logistics of the village. Hearing Madara say his name, Ling Feng threw a word and disappeared into the Hokage building, not giving them a chance to continue persuading. Ugh. Looking at Ling Feng's disappearing figure, Quan Na helplessly covered his forehead. He knew very well that Ling Feng had nothing to do at all, he was just lazy. After a flying thunder technique returned home, Ling Feng immediately turned on his mobile phone. The reason why he just said that he had something to do was because the chat group on the mobile phone sent messages. I saw a system notification suddenly posted on the chat group, saying that a new person was about to join the group. Uchiha, why did the chat group suddenly say that there will be new people joining the group? Is this true or false? Qianshou, of course it's true. We didn't say why you joined the group so late, and we were still worried about whether you were in danger. Uchiha, does it mean that every newcomer will be notified before joining the group? Haze, that's right, so we can now discuss how to tease him first. Uchiha, this is not good, after all, it is all I. Qianshou, shit, I don't know you yet. Everyone is, Ling Feng, don't think I don't know what you think, you obviously want to tease you, but you don't want to admit it. Seeing Qianshou Lingfeng revealing his true face all at once, Uchiha Lingfeng was not annoyed, but lay on the bed and laughed twice. Wave wind, Uchiha, think about it, how will we molest him? After all, didn't we molest you when you joined the group? Don't you want revenge? Uchiha, one thing to say, I think. Uchiha Lingfeng quickly typed a line and sent it up, immediately thinking in his mind how to tease the new self. Bigu, you'd better figure it out quickly, otherwise, when the newcomers enter, you won't be able to make it up. Qishou, Bigu, you think so too? Don't you want to? Bigu, I really don't want to. After several days of chatting with himself in the group, Uchiha Lingfeng also gradually got to know the characters of the three people. Among them, Qianshou Lingfeng and Bufeng Lingfeng are the ones who prefer to play, while Bigu Lingfeng is a more serious personality. It's hard to imagine that before Uchiha Lingfeng joined the group, how did Bigu Lingfeng not get crooked by Qianshou and Bufeng Lingfeng? Pafeng, shall we pretend to be a middle schooler? Just lie to him that we are an ordinary chat group. Uchiha, I think it can, but we must first find out which world he belongs to. If it is the kind of more dangerous world, we can't lie for too long. If it is the kind of everyday world, we will lie for a while. Chisato, I think so. Naruto, as expected of me. I thought so clearly. After the three discussed how to deceive the newcomer, they began to wait for the newcomer to enter. The time gradually came to evening, and the newlyweds had not yet entered. Qianshou, I said what happened to the newcomers this time, why haven't they joined the group for so long? Uchiha, will there be any danger? For example, you are fighting against someone else. Bofeng, wow, after I received the notification that the newcomer wanted to join the group in the morning, I went straight back to my room and waited, and now I haven't come out until the afternoon. Damn, Minato and Kushina are both looking at me wrong now, they thought I was doing something unspeakable in the room. Qishou, hey, I'm different, I just stayed in the Hokage building all day and it's fine, what can Qishou say? What does Madara Uchiha dare to say? What do you dare to say? In this way, Uchiha Lingfeng, Qianshou Lingfeng, Bufeng Lingfeng, and Bigu Lingfeng waited for 3 days at once before they received the notification that newcomers joined the group. Ito joins the group. Just as the three were complaining, a newcomer appeared in the chat group. Immediately, Uchiha Lingfeng, Qianshou Lingfeng, and Bufeng Lingfeng suddenly stopped talking and began to wait for the newcomers to speak. In the hearts of the three of them, they had already decided that if the newcomer came late because of the battle, that would be forgiven. If it is because of other unrelated reasons, the newcomer will be ready to be fooled by the three for a lifetime. That's right, Ling Feng is so stingy, even if he is himself. Of course, the three of them also communicated with Bigu Lingfeng early on, and they would not easily come out and expose the three. Ito, what group is this? Why did I suddenly join in? Ito. Looking at the newcomer's surname, Ling Feng thought for a long time in his mind, but he hadn't thought of anything about the world of Ito's surname. Qianshou, this is a two-dimensional fan club. Generally speaking, it is not easy to invite others. If you can join it, it means that you also like the two-dimensional. Qianshou Lingfeng looked at Ito's information, and first typed a line to test the newcomer. Ito, is it two-dimensional? I used to like it better, your thousand-handed name, do you like Hokage? Qishou, yes, I like Hokage more. Can you not like it? I like to wear it to Naruto World. Qianshou Lingfeng looked at the phone and roared wildly in his heart. Wave wind, then, Ito, have you watched the new show? At this time, Bofeng Lingfeng also asked the newcomer. Ito, is it new? I've changed several jobs recently, and I don't have time to watch new shows. This dangling is the everyday world. I'm sure. Seeing this line typed by the newcomer, Uchiha Lingfeng has determined that the newcomer's world is a relatively peaceful world. The first shift is completed. Well, if I have the third shift, will you give me a recommendation ticket? Chapter 10 The Second Rookie. Bigu, then what was your previous job, why did you change a lot? At this time, Bigu Lingfeng, who had not spoken all the time, also asked the newcomer aloud. Wave Wind, of course, if you don't want to say it, you don't have to say it. For example, I am a courier. Bo Feng Lingfeng began to tentatively ask about the newcomer's work, so as to prescribe the right medicine. Ito, my job. There is nothing to say, I used to be a student, teacher, tutor, takeaway boy, policeman, waiter, and now a courier boy. Qianshou, you are amazing, you have done so many careers. Uchiha, then why didn't you do it again? Ito, I didn't do it for some relatively private reasons. Just when the four were testing the identity of the newcomer, they saw a message pop up in the chat group, saying that another newcomer was about to join the group. Qishou, wow, what's going on these days? Why is there another person? Wave Wind, that is, we haven't even figured out the identity of the newcomer. Now there is another person, and then we have to figure out the identity of the newcomer. Uchiha, maybe this newcomer, like Ito, will have to wait another 3 days. Uchiha Lingfeng saw that the two had spoken out, so he didn't want to hide it any longer. Ito, What do you mean, isn't this just an ordinary chat group? Why even investigate the identity? Just as Ito typed a line, Lingfeng's chat group immediately displayed a line of information. The Scions join the group. Chiju, are the Scions here this time? Wave Wind, wow, this time is awesome, the Scions are equipped with a 1,000-handed physique, plus the riding wheel I and my flying thunder god, I feel that I can go head-to-head with Uchiha Madara. Scion. Ito, what are you talking about? Why was it fine just now, and suddenly I can't understand it? Uchiha, Bigu, explain to them, I'm afraid they won't understand what we explained. Bigu at Scion at Iteo, it's like this. Seeing that the chat group became more and more chaotic, Biget joined the two new members of the group and began to explain the identities of this group and many people to them. Qishou, the old rules, start reporting information. When Qianshou Lingfeng saw that the two newcomers had figured it out, he used his identity in the chat group as before. Ito, I am in the world of love action movies. My full name is Ito Lingfeng. I am a student, teacher, tutor, takeaway boy, policeman, waiter. I lost my job after delivering an express, and now I am a doctor. Scion, Dragon Ball World, full name Tabo Lingfeng, is a Scion. After the two finished speaking, they both downloaded the group file and uploaded their memories and abilities to the group file. After Lingfeng heard that Ito Lingfeng had crossed into the world of love action movies, the first thing they did was to open the group file and download Ito Lingfeng's memory. Qianshou, as expected of me. And I still have a bit of chamomile right now. Wave Wind, twist the lemon fruit on the lemon tree, you and me under the lemon tree. Uchiha, indeed. Bigu, indeed. Scion, indeed. Ito, can't say that, aren't we alone? If I do it, it means you do it. Qishou, although that is what I said, I still want to know, why did you enter the world of romantic action movies? Why it's not me? After everyone finished reading Ito's memories, they began to check the memories of the Kiseians. It turned out that the Scion Ling Feng crossed into the world of Dragon Ball and became Vegeta's younger brother, because when he was just born, his combat power was relatively low. So he was sent to an unknown planet for cultivation by King Vegeta. During cultivation, he sneaked to the Earth and escaped Frisia's pursuit. Now he has been practicing with the Turtle Fairy on Earth. Bo Feng at thousands of hands, hurry up and get some cells between the Qianshou pillars. After the fusion, we can say that we are invincible. Scion physique plus 1,000-hand pillar cells. Isn't this invincible? Qishou, 8 said, I will go to Tobarama later and ask him to get me some. After Qianshou Lingfeng finished speaking, he turned off his phone and ran directly towards Qianshou Tobarama's laboratory. Who is it? In the laboratory, Senju Tobarama, who was concentrating on his research, heard a knock on the door, so he stopped his work and went to open the door. "Me, your father." Qianshou Lingfeng stood at the gate and let out a roar. "Dad, why are you here?" After opening the door, he saw that it was really his own father. Qianshou Tobarama sneered and asked aloud. "Quick, check my body, I feel like I'm dying." Ling Feng said nothing and dragged Tobarama directly into the laboratory. "Dad, stop joking, I still don't know the physique of our thousand hands. As long as it's not a sudden death or an accidental death, we can live a very long life. Now that it's peaceful, where will your life be in danger? You can still live at least a few years." Looking at Ling Feng's hurried look, Qianshou Tobarama couldn't help but explain. In his impression, his father and eldest brother have almost the same personalities, and he sometimes even wonders if he picked it up. Otherwise, why is the father and the big brother both naive, and they are much smarter than them? And the two of them are both black and straight, why did they have white hair when they came to me? I ask you to check, you check, what do you say? Do you want me to die sooner? Ling Feng dragged Tobarama to the operating room and jumped onto the operating table very consciously. Why are you still standing there? Check it out for me. Looking at Tobarama standing aside, Ling Feng urged. It is good. Tobarama sighed helplessly, put on his clothes and began to check Ling Feng. It doesn't matter if you don't check, this check finds the problem. Dad, why are your cells different from the previous cells? Qianshou Tobarama looked at Ling Feng's cells under the microscope and hurriedly asked. He vaguely remembers now that his father's cells seem to have changed for the second time. It changed once a few days ago, but I didn't expect it to change again these days. If I didn't check, I wouldn't know it. Then what's wrong with me? Will I die suddenly? Didn't my cells change once a few days ago, so it won't affect me this time? All chat members are me. Chapter 7. When Ling Feng heard this, he was also in a hurry, and hurriedly asked aloud. He is very clear that after integrating Uchiha Lingfeng's writing will I a few days ago, his cells have changed once. At the beginning, I was still sore all over, so I hurriedly went to Tobarama for a full-body physical examination. I didn't expect that this fusion of Scion physique would change my cells again. It's not a big problem, the tolerance of the cells has improved a lot. Tobarama thought for a while, and explained to Ling Feng. That's fine, that's fine. By the way, get me some of your brother's cells. After the false alarm, Ling Feng also remembered the main purpose of this time, and changed his mouth to talk to Tobarama. Dad, what do you want big brother's cells for? Hearing Ling Feng's words, Tobarama immediately changed his face and asked Ling Feng out loud. The second update is completed, please ask for a recommendation ticket, I will update the third tomorrow, please ask for a recommendation ticket. Chapter 11 Fusion of Intercolumn Cells. Well, Tobarama, I've been hiding something from you for a long time. Listening to Tobarama's words, Qianshou Lingfeng adjusted his expression and said aloud with a very vicissitudes expression. Actually, I picked it up. Not your son. It's okay, I already guessed it. In my heart, I always thought that you were my father. Even if the elder brother doesn't care about you, I will still send you to the end. Seeing Ling Feng's 10-year-old face, Qianshou Tobarama was silent for a while, then reached out and patted Ling Feng's shoulder, looking at Ling Feng very sincerely. I didn't expect that you already knew, you said a hammer. Why are you not my son? I told you, you are my own son, and I pulled your two brothers up within urine. Give it back to you, send me off. I'm still alive and well, when the time comes, I'll send the white-haired person to the black-haired person. I wanted to say something. But when he heard Tobarama's words, Ling Feng's anger didn't come out, and he slapped Tobarama's head with a slap. Then why are you talking in such a dying tone? Dad, tell me, why do you suddenly want big brother's cells? Tobarama swayed, avoiding Ling Feng's slap, and asked aloud. You think it's peaceful now? Actually, it's not. There is still a dutiful son hidden in the ninja world. Ling Feng organized the language, and then told Tobarama about the story of the first filial son in the ninja world, Heiju, who wanted to split the moon to save his mother, and the story of the six-path immortal family. According to what you said, Big Brother and Madara are the reincarnations of the sons of the Six Path Immortals. Tobirama touched his chin and asked Ling Feng aloud. It can be said like this. Ling Feng nodded his head. In this case, eldest brother and Ban are the sons of Lu Dao, and we are descendants of Lu Dao immortals, so how do we calculate this generation? Brother is our ancestor. Tobirama snapped his fingers and began to count his family's seniority. You're an ass, as long as I'm still alive, he will be my son. Ling Feng looked at Tobirama with contempt. Then you haven't said why you want Big Brother's cells. Of course it's for a better life. What if you can't beat that black jerk? I can go up and fight too. Do you want to give it to me? Ling Feng grabbed Tobirama's collar, dragged him in front of him, and asked aloud. Give, to be honest, if Big Brother and Madara can't beat each other, we'll give it up for nothing. After Tobirama said helplessly, he took Ling Feng towards the depths of the laboratory. The two walked for a while, and finally stopped in front of a secret room. Tobirama walked in with Ling Feng, and then let Ling Feng lie down on the operating table, and went to get the column cells by himself. Come on, Dad, I can only inject a little of Big Brother's cells into you. If you inject too much at once, you will be assimilated by Big Brother's cells. Tobirama carefully injected the column cells into Ling Feng's body. Boom! After the intercolumnar cells entered Ling Feng's body, Ling Feng felt that a new energy suddenly appeared in his body. This energy is extremely arrogant, constantly swallowing the chakra in Ling Feng's body. Dad, you're running chakra to see if you can assimilate the Big Brother's cells. Standing aside, looking at Ling Feng's body a little different, Tobirama hurriedly said. Hearing Tobirama's words, Ling Feng immediately ran chakra and began to fight against the column cells. After a while, there was only a little chakra in the intercolumnar cell, and it was swallowed by Ling Feng's chakra at once. Call. Seeing Ling Feng gradually calming down, Qianshou Tobirama breathed a sigh of relief. Just now he saw that Ling Feng's body seemed to change in the direction of the tree, but now Ling Feng has successfully absorbed the cells between the columns. Lying on the operating table, feeling the continuous flow of chakra in his body, the smile on Ling Feng's face gradually became arrogant. By the way, healing power. At this time, Ling Feng remembered that he wanted to obtain the main purpose of intercolumn cells. Ling Feng took out a kunai directly from his pocket, looked at the kunai in his hand, and then looked at his arm. If you fight against others on the battlefield and get injured, you can still hold back, but it is still a little psychological pressure to do it yourself. In the end, Ling Feng took a deep breath, gritted his teeth and used Kuwu to cut a wound about 10 centimeters long on his arm. Kunai had just cut open the skin, and some blood was slowly flowing out of the wound. Then, under the gaze of Ling Feng and Tobirama, the wound suddenly scabbed over. Ling Feng wiped it again, and the wound on his arm disappeared. It took less than 5 minutes in total. It's a bit slow, but it still works. Ling Feng clenched his fist and released it again, feeling the strength in his middle arm, and said aloud. Well, the cure will be faster in the future. Tobirama watched for a while, and then expressed his own thoughts. Okay, it's all right now. After getting the result he wanted, Ling Feng quickly jumped off the operating table, ready to go out. He thought of something very important. Ling Feng directly peeled off his clothes and looked at his chest. Sure enough, Ling Feng's chest didn't know when a blurry face appeared on his chest. This face is blurry, but if you look closely, you can still see it. Tobirama, is there any way you can get rid of this? Ling Feng looked at Qianshou Zhujian's face on his chest and said through gritted teeth. At the moment, there is no way. Looking at Ling Feng's appearance, Tobirama looked like he wanted to laugh but didn't dare to laugh. It was difficult to hold back the smile and said aloud. There is no way to create a way, stop laughing. Hurry up and get rid of this thing for me, the sooner the better. Qianshou Lingfeng dropped these words and walked out of Tobirama's laboratory. Senju, brothers, I have fused the intercolumnar cells, which is really powerful. Now I seem to have endless power and chakra on my body. Qianshou Lingfeng just walked out of the laboratory and returned to his room. After confirming that there was no one around, he took out his mobile phone and said in the chat group. Wave wind, I don't care about that, but what about the self-healing ability? Does it work? Qianshou, it's a bit slow at present, but after a long time of fusion, the speed of self-healing should be improved. Scion, 8 said, upload it to the group file. Now I have the ability of self-healing Gisayan, as long as I don't die, won't I get stronger and stronger? Qianshou, it has been uploaded, you can download it. Qianshou Lingfeng looked at the words he typed, and whispered inwardly. Of course, it is impossible for him to tell the condition of the intercolumnar face on the chest after the fusion of intercolumnar cells. After all, if I have everyone, I also have to have it. It's not good if I only have a face on my chest. How can this kind of thing be said to be pitting yourself? The first update is complete, and there are 2 more updates today. Unlimited firepower is out today, I want to play a little bit. Chapter 12. Some people are inflated. Seeing the news sent by Qianshou Lingfeng, Uchiha Lingfeng smiled, and without saying a word, he directly opened the group file, and then began to accept the skills. Since Qianshou Lingfeng has successfully fused the intercolumnar cells, the process of Uchiha Lingfeng accepting the intercolumnar cells is very smooth. There is no feeling of chakra being swallowed up like Qianshou Lingfeng. Comfortable. After the fusion is completed, Uchiha Lingfeng now feels that his whole body is much more comfortable, just as comfortable as drinking a cup of Fat House Happy water in the hot summer. Uchiha, you did a good job. Originally, I wanted to do some pillar cells in my world, but after thinking about it, my relationship with Qianshou Tober was not very good, so I didn't do it. Qianshou, it's okay, it's all my own, so you're welcome. As expected of me, it's so atmospheric. Looking at Qianshou Lingfeng's words, Uchiha Lingfeng thought in his heart. Scion, who is with you? Why do I have an extra face on my chest? Isn't it the face of Senju Hakuma? Damn, if I hadn't taken off my clothes and practiced the exercises, and the turtle immortal saw the strangeness on my chest, I wouldn't have found it, so you wouldn't have told us if we didn't find it? Qishou, what face? I do not know how. Scion, you don't know a ghost. After the cells of the column are fused, the face of the column will appear on the body. Don't think I haven't seen Hokage. Wave, ha. Uchiha, ha. Seeing the Scion's words, Uchiha Lingfeng immediately became anxious, took off his shirt, and hurried to the mirror. At this time, Ling Feng wanted to know if there was a face on his chest. Sure enough, this dang hair actually even pits himself. Looking at the somewhat blurred Hazuma face on his chest, Uchiha Lingfeng now feels very tired. Damn, in case Madara or Izumi sees it, will he think I like Senju Hazuma and put his face on his chest? No, don't let them know. Thinking of this, Uchiha Lingfeng put on his clothes directly. He is going to stay at home from now on until the face of Senju Hakuma on his chest disappears. Wave Wind, come out quickly, don't play dead, think of a way to make the face of the column disappear. Uchiha, damn, just now I thought why did you upload group files so readily, so there is a pit waiting for us here. Qianshou, don't worry, I have already asked my son. He said that it will be fine for a few days. After the cells are fully fused, the face of the column will disappear. You are in a hurry. Scion, really? Qianshou, of course it's true, you still can't believe me. Everyone is Ling Feng, how can you not believe in yourself? Wave Wind, one thing to say, I really don't believe it. Uchiha, me too. Bigu, +1. Ito, fortunately, I didn't absorb the skills. Qianshou at Ito, why don't you absorb skills? Ito, my world is very ordinary. I don't have any superpowers or supernatural abilities. At most, I just exercise every day. I don't really need it. Qishou, it's not right to think that way, you still need it. After all, if you are not afraid of 10,000, you are afraid of what happens. What if something happens to you? Or is your body dying? Qianshou Lingfeng looked at Ito's words and began to bewitched. Uchiha, that is, after absorbing it, the physical fitness will not be better. Wouldn't it be easy to pick more than one? All chat members Army Chapter 8. Bo Feng, yes, if there are too many picks and your health is not good, wouldn't it be free? Uchiha Lingfeng and Bufeng Lingfeng saw that Ito did not integrate skills, so they began to fool Ito Lingfeng. I want to drag Ito Lingfeng into the water too. After all, everyone has a columnar face on their chest, but you don't have one, that's not good. Today, Ling Feng in this group must have a column face on his chest. Ito Lingfeng looked at everyone's words, and suddenly became a little moved, thinking for a long time. Then, tremblingly, he opened the group file and began to accept the skills. This is good, the last Ling Feng in this group also has a face on his chest. Ling Feng, are you there? Just as Uchiha Lingfeng was chatting with himself in the group, a voice came from outside his door. Ling Feng knew that the person standing outside was Quan Nai, because Quan Nai's voice was too familiar to him. What's wrong? Ling Feng opened the door and looked at Quan Nai outside the door. Go in and talk. The two walked into the room and sat face to face in the chairs, staring at each other. What's wrong? Ling Feng looked at Quan Nai and asked again. The people in our clan have swelled up a bit recently. Quan pondered for a while and said aloud. Expansion. Ling Feng read this word for a while, but did not quite understand the meaning of Quan Nai's words. Recently, because our elder brother is Hokage, we have always looked down on the Qianshou people, and also looked down on other villagers, so the elder brother is a little dissatisfied. Quan turned around and looked around the room. After confirming that no one was eavesdropping, she lowered her voice and said. What about the specific performance? Deliberately find fault, leave the heavy and tiring work to others, and shirk the responsibility. As soon as Quan Nai opened his mouth, he was charged with more than 10 crimes. What did that spot say? Big brother is trying to frustrate their arrogance. I'll scold them tomorrow, and beat them if they don't agree. Quan Nai thought for a moment and said aloud. Then you will do this tomorrow, why are you coming to see me? Ling Feng changed to a more comfortable position and sat on the chair, looking at Quan Nai in puzzlement. Big brother means to let you do this tomorrow. Quan Nai smiled slightly at this time. Huh? No, I can't do such a thing. After Ling Feng heard this, he immediately declined. I have already agreed with all the clan members that there will be a clan meeting tomorrow, and everyone must be present. You can't go there if you don't go there tomorrow. Why didn't I know? And I didn't get the notification. That's because I told them before I came, and now I tell you, how is it, now you know. Don't do it. You don't know very well, what do I look like in the eyes of those guys? Ling Feng knew clearly that if he did what Quan said tomorrow, his impression might be worse in the Uchiha clan. So this is a great opportunity for you to change your image. What matters most in our Uchiha family? Strength is the most important. As long as you have more strength than most people, then you are right. Quan Nai opened her own writing wheel and stared at Ling Feng tightly. Then how do you know that my power exceeds most of the clan? Ling Feng was lying on the table and said weakly. You're Flying Thunder God, and I heard from a clan before that, when you came to save me that day, you punched 1,000-hand clansmen away. Quan smiled slightly. Alright, I got it. Ling Feng now understands that the strength he showed before has been known by Quan and Madara. The second update is complete, and there is another update tonight. Chapter 13 I Remember This Hatred. Early the next morning, Uchiha Lingfeng came to the place where the clan meeting was held. However, he did not show up for the first time, but stood on a tree and listened to the conversation of the people below. Now this place is filled with most of Uchiha's clansmen. Why do you think Master Quan Nai asked us to come to the clan meeting? I don't know, I stayed at home yesterday, and then I received a message from Master Quan Na, saying that a clan meeting will be held this morning, so I came here early this morning. Isn't there going to be another war? I think most of the people called by Master Quan are people who can go to the battlefield. No way, now that our Uchiha family and the Senju family have established a ninja village, who else can be compared with us in the whole country of fire? What's more, I heard news 2 days ago that there are other families to join our ninja village. Where did you hear the news? I heard from my uncle. My uncle works as a clerk in the Hokage building, so he is well informed. At this time, the Uchiha tribe stood on the periphery of the forest and whispered, exchanging the information they knew. Ling Feng is here. Just when everyone was about to get impatient, Ling Feng appeared in front of everyone. Lord Lingfeng, what about Lord Quanah? Didn't you say that you were going to hold a clan meeting? Why didn't you see anyone else? One of the Uchiha people saw that there was no Quan Na around Ling Feng, and asked aloud. The person in charge of the clan association today is me, and I will hold today's meeting. Ling Feng glanced at the clan who spoke just now, and said lightly. Is that so, then Mr. Lingfeng, please tell me. The main content of the clan meeting today is about your words and deeds. Ling Feng glanced at all the Uchiha people present and said slowly. Recently, your words and deeds have had a big problem, which has caused a lot of trouble to Shinobu village. This makes the eldest brother very dissatisfied, so let me warn you. Ling Feng said softly. His gentle tone, in the eyes of others, looks like he is very good at talking. Is there anything wrong with our words and deeds? One of the Uchiha clansmen stepped forward and said aloud. Ling Feng's eyes narrowed slightly, looking at the clansman who came up. He knew this guy, the son of the elder Uchiha, whose name seemed to be Uchiha Eagle. You guys have been too inflated recently. You keep saying that our Uchiha family is the #1 Konoha family. The entire Konoha belongs to our Uchiha family, and the Konoha family is our Uchiha family, etc. The corners of Ling Feng's mouth rose slightly, and he said more than 10 crimes in one breath. However, since you are the first offender, you just need to pay attention and don't commit any more offenses in the future. Ling Feng's words changed and softened. The nervousness of the Uchiha clansman was relieved at once. Lord Lingfeng, we will pay attention to it in the future, you can rest assured. Before one of the clansmen could finish speaking, Taka Uchiha interrupted him. Lord Lingfeng, isn't the Uchiha family you mentioned just now the #1 family in Konoha? Uchiha Taka glanced at Madara's unfinished statue on Hokage Rock and said aloud. There are indeed thorns. Hearing Uchiha Ying's words, Ling Feng suddenly felt a little pain in his head. There is no big family in Konoha village, there are only Konoha villagers here. Ling Feng took a deep breath and said slowly. That's fine, isn't the Konoha village brought about by our Uchiha family? Uchiha Eagle threw another question to Xiang Lingfeng. Although it is said, but without the words of other families, Konoha village will not be established. Don't say such things in the future. Ling Feng looked into Eagle's eyes and said aloud. Why can't you say it? Isn't Konoha village built by our Uchiha family with the lives of our clansmen? Isn't this the honor of our Uchiha family? Why can't we say it? Can't our Uchiha family even mention the glory? Eagle's eyes stared at Ling Feng tightly, and he walked in front of Ling Feng step by step, and his voice gradually became louder. But Konoha doesn't have only one Uchiha family, there are also the Chinsho family and other small families. It is these families that make up Konoha, so don't say such things in the future. Ling Feng looked at the eagle in front of him coldly. I don't agree. The eagle's voice suddenly fell, and he said 3 words slowly. Why don't you agree? Now Ling Feng has determined that the person in front of him is the kind of extreme clanist. There is not a single coward in our Uchiha family, everyone is a person who has fought on the battlefield, and his position is also obtained through the merits of the battlefield, and you have only been on the battlefield twice, but now you are the deputy minister of Umbu, and I'm just a team captain, why? Why can't I mention the glory of our family as long as you say a word? You are not worthy of the position of deputy minister. Eagle took a deep breath and slowly stated his true purpose. He wants the position of deputy minister of Lingfeng's dark ministry. When did I get the position of deputy Umbu? And when was Umbu established? I do not know how. Lord Quanah. Just when Ling Feng doubted his life, Uchiha Quanah appeared behind Ling Feng. Umbu was established 2 days ago, because you have been staying at home, so I didn't tell you. Quan Nai saw Ling Feng's doubts and explained. 2 days ago. Ling Feng thought about the time, and found that the first 2 days were the day before Ito Ling Feng was going to enter. Because there are new people who want to join the group, Ling Feng didn't take care of some of Konoha's affairs, and left them all to Quanah, and went to the house to wait for the newcomers to join the group. What about the deputy minister? Who is the minister? After Ling Feng wanted to understand, he said weakly. The minister is Senju Tobarama, the deputy minister is you, and the position of the minister was originally mine, but considering that the Uchiha family already has a Hokage, and another Anbu minister is not very good, so I handed it over to Tobarama. As for you, it was requested by Tobarama himself. And strongly requested, he said that if you are not the deputy minister, he will not do it, so you are the deputy minister of Anbu. Quan Nai explained in a low voice in Ling Feng's ear, so that no one else could hear it. Tobarama, you pit me. Hearing Quan's explanation, Ling Feng silently wrote down the name of Senju Tobarama in the small notebook in his heart. I remember this hatred. Lord Lingfeng, I want to challenge you. Ing saw that Lingfeng had figured it out, and he said. Why? Because of the position of deputy minister, I think under the witness of most of the clan, the deputy minister of Anbu can be held by talented people, and people who eat and wait to die are not worthy of this position. What do you think? Senna-sama. All chat members are me. Chapter 9. After Ing finished speaking, he turned to look at Kwana who was standing on the side. I'm okay. Kwana shrugged, expressing that she didn't care. Then what do you say? Ling Feng. At this time, Uchiha Ing didn't even want to call the word adult behind Ling Feng. The third is complete, thank you for your recommendation. Chapter 14. Who will win? I admit defeat, I can't beat you. Ling Feng looked at Ying's somewhat bellicose eyes, and raised his hands directly, expressing that he would admit defeat. Lord Kwana, you can see that Ling Feng has already admitted defeat. Does the position of deputy chief of Anbu belong to me? Ing glanced at Ling Feng with contempt, then turned to look at Quan Nai. Well, I'm not very good at deciding, because Anbu is here. Quan Nai looked at the eagle, smiled bitterly, and pointed at Shinsho Tobarama who had just come here. Deputy Chief Anbu has already conceded defeat. According to the rules, whoever wins will have this position. I am the newly appointed deputy chief. Eagle glanced at Tobarama, crossed his chest with both hands, and said proudly. Rules? What rules? Why didn't I know there was such a thing? Shinsho Tobarama glanced coldly at Taka Uchiha and said lightly. Naturally it is the rule of our Uchiha clan, the position, and the capable one. Eagle explained. But now it's the rules of Konoha village. After Shinsho Tobarama finished speaking, the chakra of the whole body burst out. A huge chakra emanated from Chisho Tobarama's body at once, directly shaking Uchiha Eagle back 2 steps. This. The eagle took 2 steps back and released his chakra before barely stabilizing his body and said in a voiceless voice. You haven't fought yet. How can you say that he lost to you? You won't know until after the fight. Tobarama stared at the eagle, and gradually retracted his chakra. Dismounting has been completed, and now Shinsho Tobarama just wants to see Lingfeng's true strength. I've already conceded, I can't beat him, so can the position of deputy BU be given to him? Ling Feng looked at Uchiha Eagle with bad eyes and said very single. You don't need to go to work, you just need to report to the dark department every week. Tobarama opened his mouth to talk about his conditions. Don't want. Everything is done by me, unless I come to the village to survive, I usually won't call you. You can think about it. You don't have to go to work every day, with paid rest, and various annual salary and benefits. Are you sure you don't want such a position? I think the position of deputy head of Anbu was set up for me. Now when the village needs me, how can I say no? Although my strength is very weak, I am willing to contribute what I have to the village, so I have decided on the position of deputy chief Anbu. Listening to the various benefits that Shinsho Tobarama said, Ling Feng waved his hand, and the whole person was refreshed. He spoke confidently, as if he had accepted this position and suffered a lot of grievances. Ling Feng. What's the matter with you? Eagle listened to Ling Feng's words, his eyes gradually became bad. For the sake of the village, for the villagers of Konoha village, and for the hard work of the elder brother and Hazuma, I have decided to be the deputy head of Anbu. Therefore, Eagle, this position cannot be given to you. Ling Feng's eyes were also staring at the eagle, and their eyes collided in the air, as if they could wipe out sparks. Then let's see Xinjiang. After the eagle finished speaking, he directly assumed a fighting posture. fight here? Ling Feng turned his head and asked Kwana and Tobarama. Right here. Before Tobarama could speak, Kwana said. Art fire escape fireball. As soon as Chuanai's voice fell, the eagle quickly formed a seal, running the chakra in his body, and then spit out a big fireball and smashed it in the direction of Ling Feng. He was not worried at all about hurting other people, because when the others heard Kwana speak, they had already spread out and found their own observation positions. Aren't you worried? Tobarama also jumped to a better observation position, and asked Kwana beside him aloud. You fight with the eagle, who will win? Kwana asked back. Of course it's me. Tobarama answered confidently. It's not over, the eagle can't beat you, and you can't beat Ling Feng. Kwana rolled her eyes and looked at Tobarama with a look at the mentally retarded. Now Tobarama also recalled the time when Ling Feng used Kawujia on his neck before. Looking at the fireball flying straight towards him, Ling Feng jumped out of the fireball's attack range with a teleportation technique. Eagle looked at Ling Feng who jumped out, and the corner of his mouth rose slightly. He took out 8 darts from his pocket and threw them directly at Ling Feng. The 8 darts flew straight towards Ling Feng as if they were equipped with an automatic tracking system. When Ling Feng saw this, he twisted his body and avoided the attack of the dart. Now you have nowhere to hide. Fire escape, the art of dragon fire. Looking at Ling Feng in mid-air, the eagle made a seal directly, and then spit out the flame dragon from its mouth. The appearance of this fire dragon made the temperature in the air rise a lot. The flame dragon quickly flew in the direction of Ling Feng with extremely high temperature. If it was hit by this fire dragon, it would be seriously injured if it did not die. Uchiha thought about the battle plan when he came up, which shows that he attaches great importance to the position of Deputy BU Chief. Feeling the oncoming flames, Ling Feng directly launched the Flying Thunder God technique, and the whole person appeared where he was standing in an instant. It turns out that when Ling Feng used the Shunshu technique just now, he had already put down a kunai marked Fei Lei Shen on the ground. Seeing Ling Feng who was unscathed, Quan Na breathed a sigh of relief. The art of Naruto seeing. Seeing Ling Feng suddenly appearing on the ground, the eagle turned the wheel shaker at once, and used the illusion that he was most familiar with and best at Ling Feng. Ling Feng looked into Ying's eyes, and directly revealed his own writing will eye. His writing will eye was not a kaleidoscope like Madara and Kwana, but a 3-column jade. Although he was pulled into the illusion by the eagle, with the blessing of the writing wheel eye and the cells between the columns, Ling Feng broke free from the illusion with a single word. But as soon as he broke free, he saw that Uchiha Eagle had run to him, his right hand clenched into a fist, and he hammered him directly. Seeing this, Ling Feng also punched out. The 2 fists collided fiercely, making a loud noise and raising some dust. Jinshuan, who won? Looking at the 2 people surrounded by dust, the Uchiha clan people started talking. It should be the eagle who won. After all, he attacked first, and Lord Ling Feng just broke free from the illusion and rushed to punch, so it should be the eagle that won. Some of the Uchiha tribesmen began to analyze rationally. Who do you think will win? Shinsho Tobarama glanced at Kwana beside him and asked aloud. Of course it's Ling Feng. Kwana said without hesitation. Are you so confident? What your clan said is quite reasonable, because Ling Feng fought back hastily, so his strength should not be too great. Just because he is my brother, he will win. Kwana said firmly. The first update is complete, there are 2 updates today, and 1 more tonight. Chapter 15 Take a breath. Boom. A loud voice rang out from the dust and smoke, and then a figure flew out of it. Who is it? Seeing that the situation had changed, everyone's eyes at this time were all condensed on the figure that flew out. It's an eagle. One of the Uchiha clansmen shouted loudly. I saw Uchiha fly straight out of the dust and smoke like a cannonball, hit the ground hard, smashed a big hole, and then backed up a few dozen meters until it hit the ground. A stone just stopped. Hiss. Seeing the pit under the eagle's body, everyone present breathed a sigh of relief. They had thought that Ling Feng could take the eagle's punch, but they never thought that Ling Feng's punch was so terrifying that it directly knocked the eagle out. One punch can actually knock the eagle out. Puff. A mouthful of blood spurted out of the eagle's mouth. What the is going on with you? Why is your fist so powerful? Wiping the blood from the corner of his mouth, the eagle stood up slowly, holding the stone behind him. He found that his fist had become a little bloody, and there was some black stuff on it. I don't know if it was dust or what. Maybe I am born with divine power. Ling Feng looked at the pale eagle, turned his wrist, and said aloud. That's Big Brother's strange power. How could he? Seeing Ling Feng's movements, Qianshou Tobarama thought for a while before realizing that Ling Feng was using the strange power of Qianshou Zhuma. That is to focus the chakra precisely on the fist and burst out quickly, so Ling Feng's fist can hit the flying Uchiha eagle in a hasty punch. Natural power? Who are you confused? If you are really born with power, why don't we know? You are secretly looking for someone from the Qianshou family to learn something. He spat out a mouthful of blood on the ground, his hands quickly formed seals, and he wanted to release ninjutsu to attack Ling Feng. Don't spit your blood, I can say that the reason why I am so strong is entirely up to me. Ling Feng explained. Fire escape, the technique of dragon fire. The eagle didn't talk nonsense, and once again spewed out a fire dragon. The fire dragon this time was even more powerful and bigger than the previous one. The fire dragon spewed towards Ling Feng with the poor flames, and wherever it went, no grass grew. All chat members are me chapter 10. Looking at the fire dragon flying towards him, Ling Feng determined that he was standing on the right, so his hands formed a calyx shape and began to condense chakra. Turtle School Qigong. Then a blue air wave hit the eagle's fire dragon head-on. The collision of the two directly produced a huge light and wind pressure, which directly blew a big hole where the two collided. Break! Ling Feng roared, increasing the output of chakra, and then his air wave directly penetrated and scattered the eagle's fire dragon, and flew directly towards the eagle. Hateful! When the eagle saw this, he hurriedly avoided the attack of the Qigong wave with the instant body technique. Ling Feng didn't want to kill the eagle, so he let the Qigong wave hit the ground, blasting a big hole, raising a burst of dust and smoke, blocking everyone's sight. When the dust and smoke dissipated and Ling Feng's figure appeared in everyone's field of vision, he was already holding a kunai around the eagle's neck. When did you come? Feeling the cold touch from his neck, cold sweat broke out on Eagle's forehead. If he was on the battlefield now, 10 lives would not be enough for him. When did Lord Ling Feng pass by? I didn't see it clearly, did you see it clearly? No. Tobarama, do you know when Ling Feng passed by? Quanah, who was standing aside, rubbed her eyes and asked Tobarama aloud. Although Quan Nai knew that Ling Feng used the Flying Thunder God, he didn't know when Ling Feng put the Flying Thunder God technique on the eagle's body or beside the eagle. I am not sure as well. Tobarama shook his head helplessly, he didn't know when Ling Feng released it. You first say whether you admit defeat. Ling Feng held Ku Wu and pushed the eagle's neck. I admit defeat, can you answer my doubts? The eagle raised his hands to signify his surrender. Do you know Flying Thunder God? No. Just when Ling Feng rescued Quan Nai, everyone on the battlefield saw Ling Feng suddenly appear in front of Quan Na, blocking Tobarama's attack. After the war, the Uchiha people knew that Ling Feng had a very fast Flying Thunder technique. When we fight each other. Ling Feng said lightly. When we fight? Hearing Ling Feng's words, Ing thought hard in his mind, trying to figure out when he marked Fei Leishan here. Ling Feng looked at the confused eagle, smiled slightly, and then stretched out his hand to erase the mark of the Flying Thunder God from the eagle's fist. So it is. Seeing the black mark on his fist disappear, Eagle suddenly realized. You still want my place now? Ling Feng took 2 steps back and asked aloud. No. Eagle shook his head. But my current strength is not enough. When my strength is enough, I will challenge you again. The eagle threw a word and disappeared from everyone's sight. Do you still want to challenge me? Ling Feng turned to look at the Uchiha clansmen present and asked aloud. Listening to Ling Feng's words, all the people present shook their heads, indicating that they had no such thoughts. Then you do as I say, don't be so inflated, this is everyone's village, not Uchiha's village. If you don't want to obey, then I don't mind practicing with you. The meeting is now dismissed. After Ling Feng finished speaking, he walked in the direction of Tobarama, where Quan Na still had. How about it? Ling Feng looked at Quan Na and Tobarama and asked aloud. Good job. Quan Na smiled and hugged Ling Feng. Tomorrow you have to go to work, I will leave you alone in the future, I will wait for you at the Hokage building. Chisho Tobarama dropped those words and turned to leave. What's up with him? Looking at Tobarama's figure, Ling Feng asked Quan Na. Maybe it was hit by you. He felt that he was using the God of Thunder. He didn't know that the mark of the God of Thunder could be placed on the human body. Quan Na smiled and explained. The two then went back to their own rooms. Uchiha, how is it? Am I good? Scion, since ancient times, we have lost against Bo on the left. Fortunately, you have found a position. Otherwise, if you put the wave on the left, then you will not be cold. Uchiha, just a joke, I lost to Bo, and I still have the God of Thunder. I will win then. Just a little eagle, still want to grab a spot with me? As soon as Uchiha Lingfeng returned home, he told the people in the group what he had encountered today. The second one is completed, thank you for your recommendation ticket. Chapter 16 Senju Tobarama, wait for me. When the sky was still gray, someone knocked on Ling Feng's door. The sound of the fingers colliding with the wood continued to enter Ling Feng's ears. Who is it? Ling Feng, who was awakened by the knock on the door, walked to the door, rubbing his sleepy eyes, and opened the closed wooden door. Didn't I tell you yesterday? Are you going to work today? It was Chinsho Tobarama who was standing outside the door. At this time, his eyes were coldly looking at Ling Feng inside the door. Huh? What time is it? Hokage doesn't go to work so early, right? Ling Feng yawned, rubbed his red eyes, and asked Tobarama aloud. The incident happened suddenly. News came from the periphery of the village this morning. 3 other ninja messengers were looking for me. Come in the direction of our village. Hurry up and get ready, we'll go out and see those 3 people when we're done. Tobarama looked at Ling Feng with dull eyes and hurriedly urged. Okay. Hearing Tobarama's explanation, Ling Feng turned around and walked into the room to wash up. Soon, Ling Feng finished washing up, dressed and walked out of the room. Where are the 3? Ling Feng asked Tobarama. In the southeast direction of the village, we will know it all the way through. After Chinsho Tobarama finished speaking, he jumped to the roof, and then ran towards the outside of the village. Ugh! Looking at Tobarama's disappearing figure, Ling Feng covered his forehead and sighed. And then jumped to the roof. Follow behind the door. The speed of the two is one of the best in the entire ninja world, so it didn't take long before Tobarama took Ling Feng to find their target. After seeing the 3 messengers, Chinsho Tobarama stopped. He didn't choose to reveal his identity, but hid in a tree to hide his figure. The shapes of the 3 are not the same. One of them has a short braid, the other is huge, and the other has golden hair, but it is not the kind of very yellow gold, but gold that is close to silver. What are we doing? Ling Feng hid beside Tobarama, looked at the 3 people not far away, and asked Chinsho Tobarama in a low voice. Monitor them and see if they will be detrimental to our village. Tobarama stared at the 3 people who were resting on the ground not far away. Are they very powerful and need our 2 Umbu bosses and second children to monitor? After speaking, Ling Feng cheered up and stared at the 3 of them tightly. After all, we are monitoring 3 powerful people, so we must cheer up, otherwise, if they are discovered by the 3, there will be an unnecessary war there. No, they're not very strong in my perception. Tobarama closed his eyes, sensed the chakra of the 3, and said. Then why are the 2 of us watching? No one else? Ling Feng asked in confusion. There is no one else, Umbu is just established, only you and me. Hearing Ling Feng's words, Tobarama was silent for a while and said. Isn't Umbu just an empty shell? Ling Feng suddenly felt that this Umbu was different from what he imagined. In Ling Feng's imagination, Umbu should be a place full of all kinds of masters, everyone is hidden in the dark, waiting to give the enemy a slaying blow. Well. No, after all, we have the second master of the Senju family and the third master of the Uchiha family in Umbu. Tobarama was silent for a while, and after thinking for a long time in his mind, he said slowly. That's not an empty shell. Ling Feng said expressionlessly. Stop talking, they're about to start moving. At this moment, Tobarama interrupted Ling Feng's words and stared at the three of them tightly. I saw the three slowly get up, then put the things on their backs again, and then began to walk in the direction of Konoha village. So the three of them walked slowly on the ground, while Ling Feng and Tobarama followed the trees and watched them. The time gradually came to noon, the three of them had a rest during the period, and the rest of the time they were all walking, and Ling Feng and Tobarama had been monitoring the three of them. They're ready to eat. Did you bring anything? I'm hungry. Looking at the movements of the three, Ling Feng hid in the tree and asked Tobarama beside him. Bingliangwen, do you want it? Tobarama took out a black ball from his pocket and handed it to Ling Feng. Looking at the ration pill in Tobarama's hand, Ling Feng was silent. He knew what the Bing Bing pill was. Although this thing was very hungry and could restore some chakra, its taste was too unpalatable.